Welcome back to Ripley Boys Radio, episode number 6. We come here today after a late defeat at Great American Ballpark to our Cincinnati Reds by the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm Jackson, here with Mason, aka Benny, and we're going to be discussing the Reds game today. So Benny, let's go ahead and start us off with what you got.
Well, I think it was just a complete lack of effort. Hunter Green can't throw 80 pitches in 4 innings and expect us to win. And I think of course there was bad pitching from the relief guys. That one guy gave up 3 runs, but it's like it all stems from Hunter Green's bad pitching today. And I don't think the media wouldn't say this because they see a lot of potential in Hunter Green, but I don't know. It's early in the season, and that the new guy who I was high on didn't show up today. He struck out 4 times.
Benson?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Will Benson, he struck out 4 times, and it's just, in the 9th inning, Jonathan India got a nice hit, and we tried to get something going, but it just didn't work out. And the Pirates didn't beat us; we beat ourselves.
Yeah, I think you could also say the Pirates beat themselves as well, but it was just a game of two horrible teams, and the least horrible team won the game, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll start off on a pitching route. I think Hunter Green, pitching three and a third, not terrific. That's not a quality start. 8 strikeouts looks good on paper, but you pitch 3 and a third. That means you're throwing for 10 outs. Well, 8 of those 10 are strikeouts. So either you're striking them out or they're getting on base, and that was it today. He had 3 walks, 3 earned runs. Now he had one real earned run off a hit. 2 guys he walked eventually got walked around the bases by Cruz, and I'll pick up on that later. So not. I don't really like how they account that to the starting pitcher, but it is what it is. 3 earned runs, 3 walks. Like I said, eight strikeouts looks really good on paper for 3 innings, but you gave up 5 hits, and it's still it's still too much. And so Hunter Green gets pulled. And I also think the pitch clock was kind of getting into his head. He doesn't have time to settle. He doesn't have time to settle down anymore because the pitch clock is telling him to go, 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 which I cannot stand. But I will not speak any further of that.
This team, I rewatched the game on TV, and they all ran out on the field, and they were doing the thing with the starting lineup for your Reds today, and it goes through, and it's like nobody on the team. Like, there was only one guy that I did not know out there today, and this team you could say, has potential, but I don't think our coaching is very well. And we could do a 30-minute, we could do an hour show on David Bell.
Not even worth the time.
But it's just, I don't know. There's just so much going on, and I know it's very early. We got 161 more of these, but just the way we played today is not a good sign.
Well, no,
and not a good start.
No. So for those of you who may be listening, didn't tune into the game, so Hunter Green came in through 3 innings, and then David Bell immediately goes to the bullpen after 3. Cruz comes in, walks 3 guys in a row, throws a wild pitch and gets pulled. And he just couldn't throw a strike. Young comes in, brings 2 good innings, and he makes a really good play on a bunt to get an out on a guy who's pretty quick. So how do we reward that? How does David Bell reward that? Well, as soon as he walks one dude, we call to the bullpen again. And I just have some notes here, like, I typed down that David Bell is a joke. Guy he wanted to be in there and deserved it. Young did. But he walks
Right.
one dude and David Bell immediately is looking to the bullpen. And I typed in a parenthesis, I said this is typed before Law throws a single pitch. But Law actually comes in and throws really good. And then Law's throwing really good. Well, for some reason we have to throw 8 guys in one game. So now Farmer comes in, walks one, ends up giving up a run. I think that was the 8th inning, where I'll have some more discussion on that later about how the Pittsburgh Pirates play ball and how the Cincinnati Home Run Reds play ball. Um, and then Gibot came in, nothing really impressive, walked one, and he got out of the inning. And at the end of the day, on a pitching perspective, we just had too many walks. And if you walk eight, 9 guys, 7, 8, 9 guys. I don't know what the final number was, but I mean, walking in 2 runs by itself is you're not going to win a lot of ball games doing that.
That all goes back to the Pirates didn't beat us. We beat ourselves. I mean, if you're walking in 2 runs, say you don't walk in those 2 runs, we win 4-3 today.
Yep. So batting wise, the takeaway I'm getting I know it's the first game of the season and maybe there's some nerves, but what I'm getting out of this game is that we're only going to go as far as Jonathan India wants us to go. And he got on base twice today, I think, maybe 3 times. I think he got a walk too. It's a big double to try and bring us back in the 9th inning, I believe, and nobody can hit him in. Vosler had a big 2-strike at bat in the bottom of the 5th with a triple to score 2 that tied the game. And then it was basically India, Vosler, and Fraley. Those were the only guys that showed up with the bats today. And Jose Barrio, if you're watching this, I personally want you to go to the clubhouse and demand you to go to AAA, because every at bat looked atrocious. I don't care how good your glove is. If you can't get on base, you do not belong in that lineup. So if you're watching this, Jose Barrio, this is no offense to you, but you are not a big leaguer. And I've seen this for way too long now. You trying to win that starting shortstop position. You just need to live in the AAA. I don't ever want to see you in Cincinnati ever again. And that's
I'm
as far as I'm going to go with that.
I I can agree. I can agree with that. I mean, Aquino's always sitting in China if we need to go get him.
Right, but we need a shortstop. Like, call up Ellie. Like, Ellie De La Cruz has to be better than Barrio. He has to be. Barrio's at bats look like a 15-year-old versus not even 15. It looks like a 13-year-old against a Division 1 freshman pitcher. Like, it just looks ugly. He had 3 strikeouts and then he had a dribbler to third. It's just,
He had 3 strikeouts, and each of those strikeouts,
well, they looked
like,
disgusting. They looked ugly. They looked like there was his first appearance at bat, like, of the entire year. No spring training, no warm up. Just like the first time he's seen a 96-mile-an-hour fastball before in his life.
and I mean, I think that TJ Friedel got up there after the double, and my dad was right next to me, and we were at the game, of course, and he goes, "This Friedel's swinging at everything. If I'm that pitcher, I'd throw one in the dirt because he's going to swing at it. Just bounce one up there." And what did he do? He bounced one up there, and TJ Friedel swung right through it. And you got to be super calm. I mean, in those situations, I know you're hyped up from all that stuff that's going on in the game. I mean, Jonathan India and the crowd's going nuts, and Jonathan India got that hit, but you got to stay calm, and you can't just be swinging at everything. And I mean, I I I don't really know like what the right thing to say here is because well, I mean, of course there's a lot to say. I think we learned a lot about this Reds team very early. I mean, very very early. I mean, like you said, De La Cruz, he's got to be better than Barrios, and it's just David Bell says, okay, we're not gonna bring him up right now. We're gonna let him develop a little bit. If anybody needs to develop, it's Barreros.
Well, the problem with him is he gets sent down to AAA and he looks like an all-star. He looks really good. But as soon as he gets back, as soon as it's happened like three or four times, like two or three times now. He goes down in the minors, becomes an all-star in the AAA game, goes and does all that. Comes up to the majors, cannot hit. Hits like 170, 160, gets sent back down, all-star again, comes back up. Same thing. It's going to be the same thing this year. His bat just I don't understand how I don't understand how your bat can't improve. Everybody else in the game improves at the game if they take it seriously. Obviously, he's not doing that because his bat looks the exact same as it was last year. And I know people might be saying, "Oh, dude, this is one game, one game." This one game is against Mitch Keller in the Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen, which is atrocious. Okay, and it doesn't even look like he's confident at bat. He's swinging at nonsense. If you get sat down three times by Mitch Keller, you should not be in the majors. I'm sorry. I don't care that he's an opening day starter. He's not good at all.
And I mean, when does New the Yankees come to town in about middle May? How is he going to do? Say Nestor Cortez pitches and he's up here. That's going to be embarrassing to watch.
Well, hopefully he's not on the squad by
Yeah.
then.
Hopefully he's not on the squad by then, but I'm saying if he is, that's going to be very embarrassing to watch. And I mean, like I said, we learned a lot about this ball club today.
Yeah, well,
And
I think the bats will, I mean, eventually get up. Will Myers had a horrible day as well, and then Will Benson had an atrocious day. When you have three or four guys in the lineup who are just they're not even putting the ball in play. I mean, Will Myers had how many strikeouts? Benson had three strikeouts. Barrio has three strikeouts. How are you going to win games? Because India's getting on base three out of five times. Who's going to hit him in? Fraley had a good day. Vosler had a good day. That's how we scored four runs because three guys had a good day. Okay, we need like more than three guys to have a good day, right? Because India's not going to hit 400 every single game.
right,
Fraley's not going to. I think he went 2 for 3 or 3 for 4. He might have had a three-hit day, but he's not going to hit 750 every single game. And Vosler's not going to have a triple to score two ribbies every single game. Who's going to step up? I think Steer had a pretty good game. He didn't. I mean, he didn't do too much. I think he hit that home run, but I don't know, man. I just don't know how we're going to score runs this year. It's going to be us scoring no runs and us our bullpen giving up a lot of runs.
with a really, really bad record.
Yep. So let's get into my side note here. This is a little David Bell
Oh,
101. This is David Bell 101.
you're
Okay?
pretty up about this, aren't you?
So
This whole
as I was watching it, so we walk a guy, whatever. We walk a guy, the guy gets on first. Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates actually want to win the game, right? So the guy on first is going to steal. See how that works? So he advances and steals because they do a fake bunt. And the thing about the fake bunt is you get as far back to the catcher, as possible, messes up with the catcher. So the pitch was perfect. The guy is so far back in the bunting stance. It just messes up. It's just something you do, right? So Stevenson can't catch it right. He gets a free base. I mean, he was stealing anyway. Probably would have been safe. So they got a guy on second, no outs. So what do the Pittsburgh Pirates do? They, I know David Bell's never heard this before, but they bunt. Bunt. They bunt the ball. That advances the runner from second to third, right?
Right.
And then what happens? Cruz comes up, hits a 390-foot sacrifice fly to score the runner at third, and now it's 5-4, and the Reds are crapping their pants because oh my gosh, we're down, and it's the ninth inning. It's the bottom of the ninth. It's the ninth inning. What are we gonna do?
I mean, as a Reds fan, I know what play you're talking about, and I watched him bunt, and I'm like, wait a minute. I've never seen that. I've never seen.
Well, that's my question. When is the last time you have ever seen a guy on David Bell's squad bunt
I don't think I've ever.
without the shift, like trying to bunt for a hit, like actually when there's a runner on base, bunting to advance the runner. When have you ever seen that ever?
When was the last time that pitchers could hit? 2 years ago.
Probably.
That was the last
I don't
time I.
remember. I don't even think he was doing it then. I think Lorenzen was swinging for the fence back then. But anyway, so that happens. The next half inning, as soon as we get back up to hit, we have a chance to do the exact same thing. We put in Fairchild at first to steal, but he doesn't. They don't steal him. He doesn't try and steal once until we have two strikes. But you know who's at the plate getting those two strikes? Will Benson, who at the time is 0 for 3 with three strikeouts. But David Bell really wants to see him swing the bat. All right. We want to see an 0 3 guy. Obviously isn't seeing the ball well at all today. 0 for 3, three strikeouts. We want to see him swing. Okay. Have it your way. I'm not an MLB manager. I would have managed that game a lot differently, and I think I would have won that game. But anyway, so
I
Benson
mean,
comes up. He's 0 for 3. We don't have him bunt. Bell wants to see him swing it. Why not? We finally steal with two strikes and we get doubled up. So Benson strikes out for the fourth time and then we get thrown out at second. Why? It's the first game of the season and David Bell is once again showing me how he can't manage a game.
well, I mean, last year how did we start the season? 3-24.
That was horrible.
Yeah, nobody in the Reds organization. I don't even think it crossed their minds. Hey, we're 3-24 to start the year. Maybe we should fire David Bell.
Never his fault though.
Yeah,
It's never his fault.
his fault.
It's the young group of guys that he has, and they're all really developing. Like Jose Barrio, who's going to hit 150 this year. They're all really developing. We just need to wait. Okay, David Bell's got it all under control, and I could tell by his game managing that he knows what he's doing.
And it isn't his fault. And it isn't any of the coaches' fault. And
Oh
it
no.
isn't and it isn't even the players' fault. I don't even think people think it's Castellini's fault and the guys that we're getting and stuff. Well, then whose fault is it? It gets to a point where whose fault is it? Who when we're 60 and 102 or 62 and 100, whose fault is it? I want to hear this because
It's everybody in the organization's fault.
yeah, but in the eyes of the media, whose fault is it? Because it isn't David Bell's. It isn't these developing players like Barreros, who's going to hit 150 again, like you said. Like it gets to a point where where I'm questioning whose fault is it, and when we're going 3-24 to start the year, hey, it didn't even cross anybody's mind. Like, hey, maybe we should fire our manager. No, didn't cross anybody's mind, and that's insane to me.
Well, this team's almost turning into like one of those you know, Christian high schools, like 1A, 100 kids in the class, and you fire David Bell. Well, who wants who wants to come manage it? for the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, one of the most historic baseball team in history. That
Right.
Manfred makes us play an away game for the first time in 180 years. Uh, so maybe they want history away from us. Maybe this is all a big MLB scheme, and David Bell's supposed to be in here for some sort of script, and I'm supposed to be made like an idiot. But David Bell's not taking this team anywhere. And the fact of the matter is, this is just another horribly managed game, and it's another game where the bullpen blows it. And I cannot wait to watch the same thing on repeat every single game for the rest of the season.
Yep. And I mean, we were walking out of the stadium today, and I said, "Well, good thing there's 161 more of these." And really, I don't want to think about 161 more of these. How we played today.
Yeah, that's the most filled that stadium's going to be, and I hope any of you listening, if you're a Cincinnati Reds fan, I hope you do not show up and watch that team because the
It's a win.
owners are all about the dollar. They don't care about how the team performs as long as people show up. And if you don't show up, they don't care. Like if you show up, they won't care about how the team performs. If nobody shows up, they don't get any money. It's going to be a crapshoot. They're going to start doing something. But I'm telling you right now, this team is going to be horrible. Okay? Hashcraft, Lodolo, Hunter Green, one of them's getting traded before All-Star break. And India is 100% getting traded before All-Star break for prospects that we're going to develop for the next 3 years.
So
We're just going to be we're going to be the MLB's farm league system for the majors. It's just we trade every guy that we get. When are we ever actually going to use those guys? Who knows? Owners don't want to do anything with trades. We signed Will Myers, who's 40 years old, not 40 years old, but he's old. He's definitely a veteran, but like, why are we not like we just don't care about we don't care about being a good ball club, and we haven't cared about being a good ball club since 2012.
Yep. And I mean, it's Castellini said, "All right, guys, you're gonna have to bear with us. We're not gonna be good."
Which is fine. I mean,
But I mean,
but we haven't been good for 8 years. So
yeah, but like, okay, you're gonna say that, but when are you gonna change that?
never.
Bill, like you said, we're gonna get prospects, but those prospects are just gonna come
Well,
up
those
and
prospects will turn into what Lodolo has been in Ashcraft and Green, and they'll all be shipped away for more prospects that we're gonna as soon develop and trade again. It's just a nonstop cycle. We develop for every other team. We're like every team's farm league. We ship them away. We develop them and then we ship them away. We don't actually use them for our team. So if they ship India, I know India is getting traded, but if they actually do it, I don't know. I won't tune in for to this club for a long time.
right. What do you think about Joey Votto? Like, what happens to Joey Votto after this year?
Probably retire. He said it himself that if he doesn't come back and play to the best visibility, that he's just going to retire. And I don't think he's going to do that. Injuries are starting to creep up, and he's getting older, and injuries are just going to keep happening. It's more and more likely the older the player gets, obviously, more injuries they're going to have, and I think Votto's kind of just turning into being injury prone, and if you're always injured, you can't play to the best of your ability. So in his words, he said he's going to retire. So I think that's what he's probably going to do after this season.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, it's the end of his contract. Where does he go from here?
Right. I mean, he's just getting too old. He would be collecting veteran minimum, and if that's even if he wants to play baseball anymore. But I think he has a lot of hobbies outside of baseball that he enjoys. So I think he would be fine retiring after that lucrative 10-year deal that the Reds gave him. So,
Yeah.
well, that's all for Ripley Boys Radio. This is episode 6 again. Catch us live for the maybe soon. maybe very soon for a little IU basketball talk in that transfer portal because it's heating up. See you next time.